Okay, hello and welcome back. Want to carry on from where we left off last week. We'd done a kind of rough sweep over the vocals and got them sounding okay in the mix. Got a little bit of reverb on there, got a little bit of vibe going on. But I want to kind of go into it a little bit more detail because the vocals are so important in these songs. They are the whole crux of what holds these songs together. Now, I'll get to the guitars and whatnot in the next video, but in this video I just wanted to concentrate in a little bit more on the vocals and kind of go a little bit more in depth than what we did last time. So let's take a little look at what we've got. We can have a quick blast.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way.
Now, it's all okay. We've got the EQ's working okay on the vocals. That the doubler on the H3000's working nicely, but they're very dry. They need kind of put into a space. So what you've seen this before if you've watched my videos. I'm going to use the Fab DuPont method basically. Now, I have two ways of doing this. I will work either with delay or reverb. In this case, if I want to keep a drier sound but create the effect of wetness, that'll be in a more crowded mix, like a heavy rock song or something. I'll use stereo delay instead of reverb. But in this case, we've got the space. It's not such a thick, crowded mix that I want to use the reverb in this case, and I want to create a sense of space around the singer. So there is the 3-phase reverb method that I love from Fab DuPont, which involves creating 3 separate reverbs that build up into one big reverb. So we start off with what he calls the office. Now, the reason he uses this is a lot of modern vocalists sing with a microphone really close to their face, and a lot of us forget that the condenser microphones, they work better if there's a distance between you and the microphone. And there's a thing called proximity effect as well that can cause, like, as soon as you come closer to a microphone, you get more and more bass build up in that microphone. So if you want a more bassy sound, then swallow the microphone. But if you want a clearer, more rounded sound, step away from the microphone. If your singer hasn't done that, we can work with EQs, but also we can use this room reverb called the office to combat this. So let's solo my mics out. So I don't disappear. I'm going to solo up the lead vocal here. We'll solo the bus up actually, because I've got everything sent through the bus. So if we switch in the office, and I'm going to turn it right down so it's not doing anything at the moment. If we head on over here, now what I've got is I've got reverb, and I have a lexicon room algorithm in here, impulse response. It comes from Lexicon 480L library. I'll have to look up where I actually got this from, what library it's from, but it doesn't really matter. Just find a room reverb that you like, that works, put it in here. And as I've done here, I've had to add in this trim, gain and stretch tool, and I've cut the length of it a little bit and just played around with the response that I pulled out to get what I wanted. So what we can do is, if we bring this in, I think we're in, we can have a listen.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. searching.
Can you hear how it's just putting her in a bit of a room? It's a bit of a concrete tank room at the moment, but we can adjust that.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day,
Without
that's what I'd say. Look, space, I'm on my way. I'm coming back, but please help me find my track, but I'm searching.
So it just adds that sense of space between singer and the microphone that it really, you know, it puts her in a room. So if I switch this out, I'll play it.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say.
Let's bring her in.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space.
She's in a room. She's in a small room. She's got space around her, and that's what I'm after. So the second layer of this is what I'm doing with the first layer is to create space between the singer and the microphone. This layer is going to create space between the singer and the back wall. So the back wall is going to move away from her with this plate. So I'm using a plate reverb. I'm using an EMT 140 medium plate, classic impulse responses. I'm doing nothing to it. It's just the EMT 140 on its own. Lovely, lovely, lovely impulse. Let's bring it in. So where are we? From the vocal bus. 63, yep.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I'm coming back, but I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space.
Can you hear that? It just creates space around her, around the back side. It's kind of like we're all of a sudden, we're in a 3D space. We're not in a 2D just from the front. We've got space all around of us all of a sudden. Now, I'm exaggerating that, so I'll turn it down a little bit.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way.
That's what we're left with.
I'm coming back, but please help me.
It's, you know, it's really easy to do it, and you don't have to overwhelm the effect to create a sense of space. Now, our last one that I'm going to do is a whole reverb, and once again I'm using reverb as I showed you in those earlier videos. You should look up my Fab DuPont type reverb videos or something. I can't remember what they call them, but something like that. Now I've got a whole. These are different impulse responses I'm using this time. Just as I always do this, I kind of pluck stuff at random. I go for what I like at the time. So we've got another, I have to admit, this Sanders Hall is one of my favourites, and it's one of those free ones from the Bricasti M7 series you can find on the internet for free. They're brilliant. So this is my whole reverb that I've got on here. So if we switch it on from 63, now I'm going to switch both of these on. What I'm doing, I'll explain this very quickly, is I'm sending from 1 and 2 to 1 and 2, so normal send into the reverb. But what I'm then doing is I'm sending from 1 and 2 into channel 3 and 4, 3 and 4 being our sidechain channels, and I've got rear comp on here set to sidechain mode so that the vocals actually make the compressor work. So when the vocals are singing, it compresses the reverb, but when the the vocal stops singing, the compressor goes away and the reverb comes up. So basically I can use a lot of this whole reverb, but without it cluttering up what the singer's doing. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll switch off the sidechain for the moment. We can just hear what this vocal coming into the reverb is doing. So what we've got now is this.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back.
I hope you can hear that. That was kind of like from above the head. You know, that created a space above the head. So we've got from the back, we've got from the front, and we've got from above the head with the whole reverb. Now if I bring in the side chain, we'll listen again.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back, but please help me find my track. But I'm searching the right destination.
So I hope you can hear that. It's just compressing the reverb while the vocal's singing. When the vocal stops, it lets go and the reverb comes up and we get that effect. I think it will be a little bit more obvious within the track. So let's unsolo our vocals and let's solo up this one.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back, but please help me find my track. But I'm searching the right destination.
Now what we could try now is to bring in a little bit of stereo delay. I've just got this one set up just for a little bit of slap back and see what it brings.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back.
I think that works. It just thickens up the vocal a little bit, and I mean all it is, it's really simple. Stereo delay, if I can find it. You've seen this before, but I've got it set to a 16th on the left and a 32nd on the right, and a little bit of feedback. It's totally wet, and then I just add it in and it creates a bit of a slapback effect, a bit of widening, and it just creates a bit of depth to the vocals. So if we listen again, and I'll mute it out.
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back, but please help me find my track. But I'm searching the right destination.
Just adds a little bit of thickness, which I like, and it's just a nice little touch to have in there. So I mean, that's as far as our lead vocal goes. I'm happy at that. I don't need to do anything fancier with this track. We don't need, I mean, you'll see a lot of delays and whatnot on this track ready to go. This is a template that I have. I don't necessarily use them all every time. So if I feel I need a quarter note delay or a 16 note delay, I've got it on hand that I can just, you know, dial it in and there we go. In this case, I'm happy as how we are. Now, what we did add, which I do like to use, is a super tap delay. I haven't switched it in, so let's switch it in and bring in our vocal bus. And this is another little trick that I like to use. Now what we've got is Waves Super Tap Delay, and again I've got rear comp doing the sidechain thing, and I've got re-EQ, and I'm just concentrating on those middle frequencies. Now rear comp I haven't got added in, so let's just see where we stand and bring
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking for some space, I'm on my way. I know I'm coming back. Please help me find my track, but I'm searching the right destination.
It's another little texture you can use. I mean, you could even probably take the whole reverb out and use this multi-tap on its own. And if I just show you this is the settings that I have. I use this every time. All I've got it set up is the sync is auto, so it syncs to the BPM of the track. And I never change this. I've always got this set up in my thing. And I've also got the rear comp there, so if I want to sidechain it and have a bit more of a heavier effect going on, but use the same trick as I did with the whole reverb and use the vocals to compress it until there's silence and then let the effect take over. So yeah, just another little trick, another way of thickening up the vocals if you feel you need it. And at times I might automate some of these. I might bring some of them in and out depending. I think when the vocal goes a bit higher, she needs the multi-tap delay there just to thicken things up, just to bring out, you know, some more of the body of her vocal. As for the backing vocals, I mean, I'm pretty much hanging the same way. I'm going to use the 3-plate Hall and the Hall sidechain. We've got the AFX and the H3000. So if we bring in the backing vocals,
I'm moving on in my life, day by day, that's what I'd say. Looking, I'm coming back. Please help me find my track, but I'm searching the right destination. I know I'm coming back. Please help me find my track, but I'm searching the right destination. The right.
I think with the vocal delay there, the multi-tap delay, it's a little bit too.
I'm coming back. Please help me find my track, but I'm searching the right destination. I know I'm coming back. Please help me find my track, but I'm searching the right destination. The right destination.
There's a little bit too much.
The right destination.
Just want to take out a little bit of that Hall. But other than that, I think we're there. I think the vocal sounds okay. It needs automation.
The right destination.
That's better. So it's a case of, like, you know, you've got to find a balance, find a sound that you want. Yeah, it's up to you how you want the vocal to sound. I've got a very particular thing in my head. I'm not there with it yet, but I'll spend a little bit more time and come back to it and show you what I've done. But I'm kind of getting there. It's close, but it needs fine tuning. So that's, I think, where I'll leave it for this one for today, and I hope it's been useful. Please don't be annoyed with me if I don't get back to you as quickly as you would like to, because I'm not going to be around for a couple of weeks. So all will be good, and I will be in touch when I get back. And if you want to get a hold of this project file, let me know and I'll send you over. You know, the rules is subscribe, send me a message, and I'll send you the project file via Dropbox. Simple as that. Okay, so I hope this was useful, and I'll see you on the other side. Have a happy summer, and I'll see you later, chaps. Bye.
To the house beat.